A chilling whisper echoes through a foggy manor at midnight. The mind is the deadliest weapon. Hercule Poirot faces a psychological maze where every guest hides a secret, and the clock is ticking. Chapter 1. The Invitation to Shadowbrook Manor Picture. This, folks, it's a foggy evening in the English countryside, the kind where the mist clings to your coat like an unwelcome guest, and the air smells of damp earth and impending rain. Our story kicks off with the legendary Hercule Poirot, that meticulous Belgian detective with his perfectly waxed mustache and those piercing gray eyes that seem to see right through your soul. He's lounging in his cozy London apartment, surrounded by the faint aroma of Tiziana's favorite herbal tea and flipping through a stack of newspapers. His little gray cell's itching for a new puzzle. Life has been a tad too quiet lately. No baffling crimes, no eccentric suspects to interrogate. Poirot sighs, adjusting his immaculate tie. Muttering to himself in that charming accent, "Mon ami, the world grows dull without a proper enigma." But just as he's about to retire for the night, there's a sharp rap at the door. It's his loyal friend and chronicler, Captain Arthur Hastings, bursting in with his usual boyish enthusiasm, his face flushed from the chill outside. "Poirot, old chap, you've got to see this." Hastings waves an envelope sealed with a dramatic wax cresta, swirling S that looks like a serpent ready to strike. It's an invitation, elegantly scripted on thick parchment, from a reclusive millionaire named Sir Reginald Blackwood. The note reads, "Dear Monsieur Poirot, your reputation as the unparalleled solver of mysteries precedes you. I humbly request your presence at Shadowbrook Manor this weekend for a gathering of minds. Expect intellectual delights, and perhaps a challenge worthy of your genius. Midnight holds the key. Yours in anticipation, Sir Reginald." Now Rose's eyes sparkle with intrigue. "Ah, Hastings, what is this? A soiree of the intellect, or something more sinister?" He examines the paper closely, noting the faint scent of lavender, mixed with something metallic ink, perhaps, but why so fresh? Hastings, ever the optimist, chuckles. Sounds like a jolly weekend away from the city's smog. Blackwood's known for his eccentric parties, riddles, games, that sort of thing. He's filthy rich, owns half the shipping lanes in Europe. But Poirot, with his uncanny intuition, senses undercurrents. Non mon ami. Invitations like this do not come without purpose. The mind games at midnight ... hints at psychology, at tricks of the perception. We shall go, but with eyes wide open. The next day, they board a rattling train to the remote village of Eldridge Hollow, where Shadowbrook Manor looms like a Gothic sentinel on a hilltop, its turrets piercing the overcast sky. As their taxi winds up the gravel path, Poirot observes the estate's grandeur. Ivy-cloaked stone walls, manicured gardens now shrouded in twilight, and windows glowing with warm light that belies the chill in the air. "Impressive, yet isolated," Poirot remarks. "Perfect for secrets to fester." Hastings nods, though a shiver runs down his spine. He's read too many ghost stories about places like this. Upon arrival, they're greeted by the butler, stoic figure named Gravestall, gaunt, with eyes like polished obsidian that seem to miss nothing. "Welcome, gentlemen." Sir Reginald awaits in the drawing room. He leads them through echoing halls lined with portraits of stern ancestors, their gazes following like silent judges. The drawing room is a masterpiece of opulence. Crystal chandeliers casting rainbows on velvet drapes, a roaring fireplace crackling with logs, and shelves brimming with leather-bound tomes on psychology, philosophy, and the occult. Gathered there are the other guests, an eclectic mix that screams suspects in waiting. First, there's Lady Evelyn Thorne, Sir Reginald's sharp-tongued sister-in-law. Draped in emeralds and silk, her lips curled in a perpetual smirk. She's a renowned psychologist, author of The Labyrinth of the Subconscious, and rumors swirled that she uses hypnosis in her therapy sessions, sometimes too effectively. "Monsieur Poirot, how delightful," she purrs, extending a gloved hand. "I've studied your methods. Deduction is merely the tip of the mental iceberg." Poirot bows slightly, noting her steady gaze to steady, perhaps hiding nerves next. Dr. Julian Hargrove, a burly psychiatrist with a bushy beard and a booming laugh, but eyes that dart suspiciously. He's Blackwood's old university chum, specializing in mind control experiments, ethical ones, he claims, though his funding comes from shadowy sources. Poirot, the man who solves puzzles with logic alone. Care for a wager on who cracks the first riddle tonight? Hargrove slaps Hastings on the back, nearly toppling him. Then there's Miss Clara Voss, a young American heiress with wide eyes and a notebook clutched like a lifeline. She's an aspiring mystery writer, invited for her fresh perspective. But Poirot spots ink stains on her fingers' recent writing. Frantic, perhaps. Oh, Mr. Poirot, your cases inspire my stories. This weekend will be gold for my next novel. Rounding out the group is Victor Lang, a sly inventor of gadgets, his pockets bulging with prototypes, thin and wiry with spectacles. Perched on his nose, he's known for creating illusion devices mirrors that deceive clocks that lie. Detective, ever use tech in your investigations? I could whip up something to aid those gray cells of yours. And finally, the host himself, Sir Reginald Blackwood, enters with a flourish. Tall and silver-haired, with a commanding presence. He wears a tailored suit and a gold pocket watch that he checks obsessively. Monsieur Poirot, honored you could join us. This gathering is no ordinary party. It's a symposium of the mind. Tonight, at midnight, we'll play games that test the boundaries of reality and illusion. Prizes for the sharpest wits. His smile is warm. But Poirot detects a flicker, a man burdened by unspoken fears. As cocktails are served, rich sherry that warms the belly conversations buzz with intellectual banter. Lady Evelyn debates Hargrove on Freudian slips, while Clara scribbles notes furiously. Victor demonstrates a small puzzle box that only opens with a secret code. Hastings, feeling out of his depth, sticks close to Poirot, whispering, "Seems harmless enough, eh?" But Poirot shakes his head. Observe, Hastings. The tensions simmer beneath the surface. It's Blackwood's watch. Why check it every 5 minutes? And that portrait above the mantelets of his late wife, Amelia, who died mysteriously 2 years ago. Suicide, they said, but whispers of foul play linger. Dinner follows in the grand dining hall, a feast of roast pheasant, buttery potatoes, and decadent truffles, all under the glow of candlelight. Stories flow like the wine. Blackwood recounts his travels to India, where he learned ancient meditation techniques. Evelyn shares a case of a patient who lost memories under hypnosis. Hargrove boasts of experiments bending wills. Poirot listens intently, piecing together fragments. Clara leans in. Sir Reginald, what exactly are these midnight games? Blackwood chuckles. Ah, patience, my dear. They involve riddles that probe the psych truths hidden in lies, perceptions twisted by suggestion. The winner claims a rare artifact from my collection, an antique clock said to predict the future. As the clock nears 11, the group retires. To the library, a cavernous room with towering bookshelves and a massive oak table. Blackwood dims the lights, heightening the atmosphere. Let the games begin early with a warm-up. A simple riddle. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? Smiles ripple as guests ponder. An echo, Clara exclaims triumphantly. Blackwood nods approvingly, but then, a subtle shift. Blackwood pulls Poirot aside. Monsieur, I must confess, this invitation wasn't just for fun. I've received threats, anonymous notes, claiming I'll pay for sins of the mind at midnight. I fear for my life. His voice trembles slightly. Poirot's mustache twitches. Why not the police? Blackwood whispers. Because the culprit is among us. Someone here knows my secret experiments I conducted years ago, bending minds for profit. Help me, Poirot, for Poirot can probe further. A blood-curdling scream echoes from upstairs. The group rushes to find Graves, the butler, pale as a ghost, pointing to Blackwood's study door jar with a faint light spilling out. Inside, chaos, papers strewn, a window shattered, and on the floor, a cryptic note. The games begin. Midnight claims its first victim, but Blackwood is nowhere to be seen. The clock strikes 11:30. Tension thick as fog. Poirot takes charge. Misamis remain calm. We search the manor methodically. Hastings pairs with Clara, Evelyn with Hargrove, Victor alone but watched. As they disperse, Poirot examines the study. Footprints in the carpet muddy. Size 10 perhaps. Vase with lavender petals, matching Evelyn's perfume. And the notes ink fresh. Like the invitation, the search yields nothing but locked doors and empty rooms until midnight approaches. Gathering back in the library, the grandfather clock booms 12 strokes. Suddenly, the lights flicker out, plunging all into darkness. A whisper hisses through the air. Welcome to the mind games. When light returns, Blackwood reappears, slumped. In his chair, eyes wide in terror, a dagger in his chest. But wait, no blood. Poirot kneels, checking pulse. Mon Dieu. It's a mannequin dressed as Blackwood. Gasps erupt. The real Blackwood staggers in from a side door, sweating. A prank. No, this is the threat manifesting. But Poirot's eyes. Narrow, Nan. This is the opening move. Someone here is playing a deeper game, testing our minds before the real strike. As the chapter wraps, the group huddles, suspicions mounting. Poirot announces, we shall uncover the truth, step by step. But beware, the mind is fragile, and games like these can shatter it. And with that, the stage is set for the psychological. Twists ahead, leading us seamlessly into the revelations of Chapter 2. Chapter 2. The first riddle unravels. The library at Shadowbrook Manor feels like it's holding its breath. The air thick with suspicion as the grandfather clock's echo fades. Hercule Poirot stands beside the mannequin dressed as Sir Reginald. Blackwood, its lifeless eyes, staring into the flickering candlelight. The dagger in its chest is a theatrical prop, but the message is clear. Someone in this room is weaving a web of fear. And Poirot's little gray cells are already at work, piecing together the puzzle. The guests, Lady Evelyn Thorne, Dr. Julian, Hargrove, Clara Voss, Victor Lang, and a shaken Sir Reginald exchange wary glances. Their earlier banter replaced by a tense silence. Captain Hastings, clutching his notebook, whispers, Poirot, this feels like the start of something diabolical. Poirot nods, his mustache twitching. Indeed, mon ami. The game has begun, and we must play it with precision. Poirot steps forward, his voice calm but commanding. Ms. Amos, this mannequin is no mere prank. It is a challenge to our intellect, a clue wrapped in theatrics. Let us examine it closely. He kneels, inspecting the dagger, a polished blade engraved. With a tiny serpent matching the wax seal on his invitation, the mannequin's suit is one of Blackwood's own, monogrammed with his initials. Curious, Poirot murmurs, that the culprit knew exactly where to find your clothing, Sir Reginald. Blackwood, still pale, stammers, it was in my wardrobe locked. Poirot's eyes gleam. Then our player has access to private spaces. Or perhaps ... a key. The group shifts uncomfortably as Poirot turns to the cryptic note found in the study. The games begin. Midnight claims its first victim. Handwriting is elegant, almost too perfect, written in deep indigo ink. Poirot holds it to the light, noting a faint watermark, a crest of a raven. This paper's not common, he says. It suggests wealth or access to exclusive stationery. Galata, the aspiring writer, pipes up, I've seen that crest before. It's on some of Sir Reginald's personal letterhead in the library. All eyes turn to Blackwood, who protests, I keep that locked in my desk. Someone must have broken in. Poirot decides to test the group's wits with action. We shall conduct an experiment. Each of you, describe what you were doing between 11 and midnight when the lights went out. Lady Evelyn speaks first, her voice cool. I was in the conservatory, admiring the orchids. Alone, naturally, I needed a break from Hargrove's insufferable theories. Hargrove bristles, and I was in the billiard room, practicing shots. Victor can vouch he passed through. Victor adjusts his spectacles nervously. Yes, I was fetching a screwdriver from the hall closet for a gadget I'm tinkering with. Clara hesitates, then says, I was in the guest wing, jotting ideas for my novel. The scream startled me. Blackwood claims he was in the wine cellar, selecting a vintage for later. Hastings scribbles furiously, but Poirot's mind is elsewhere, analyzing their words. Interesting. No one has an alibi confirmed by another convenient non? He paces, then stops at a bookshelf. Noticing a book slightly askew, The Art of Suggestion by a Dr. Moreau. Flipping it open, he finds a passage. Underlined, the mind bends to subtle cues, mistaking illusion for reality. Poirot smiles faintly. This book may hold a key. Our culprit uses psychology, planting doubt like seeds. To shake things up, Poirot proposes a group activity riddle from Blackwood's promised midnight games, perhaps left as a clue. He finds a sealed envelope on the table, overlooked in the chaos, marked Game 1. Inside is a typed riddle. I am taken from a mine and shut up in a wooden case, from which I am never released, and yet I am used by almost every person. What am I? The guests murmur, intrigued despite their nerves. Victor snaps his fingers. Pencil lead graphite. Mind, encased in a pencil, used without being removed. Poirot nods approvingly. Correct? But why this riddle? It speaks of confinement, of utility unnoticed. A metaphor, perhaps, for our culprit's motives. The group's focus on the riddle loosens tongues, and Poirot listens as they debate. Evelyn suggests the riddle hints at hidden value, like a secret kept under lock. Hargrove argues it's about manipulation, using something without acknowledging its source. Clara, scribbling in her notebook, wonders if it's a clue to a physical object in the manor. Blackwood, still shaken, says, My late wife loved riddles. She'd hide treasures in plain sight. Poirot's ears prick up. Madame Amelia, tell me more. Blackwood hesitates, then admits. She was brilliant, a cryptographer during the war. Her death, ... it changed me. Some say I drove her too. With my experiments. Before Poirot can dig deeper, Graves the butler enters, his face grim. Sir, the telephone lines are cut, and there's a message carved into the front door. The group hurries to the entrance, where jagged letters spell out, Truth lies in shadows. Poirot traces the carving, noting the force behind. This is no delicate hand. Strength was required. Hargrove, the burly psychiatrist, shifts uncomfortably, while Victor's thin frame seems less suspect. Clara whispers, It's like my novel someone's scripting terror. Poirot gathers everyone back in the library, refusing to let panic take hold. We are being tested, Misamis. This message, this riddle, they are distractions, yes, but also clues to the mind behind them. We must observe behavior. Who flinches? Who watches too closely? Assigns pairs to search for physical evidence. Hastings with Victor, Evelyn with Clara, Hargrove with Blackwood. Look for anything unusual. Ink, tools, traces of mud. Report back in 1 hour as they disperse. Poirot lingers, examining the library's nooks. He finds a hidden panel behind a portrait of Amelia Blackwood, revealing a small safe. It's locked, but scratches around the dial suggest recent tampering. Mon Dieu, Poirot mutters. What secrets did you hide, madame? He makes a mental note to investigate Amelia's past further, suspecting her death ties to the threats. The hour passes, and the pairs return with findings. Victor and Hastings report muddy boot prints near the back entrance, size 10, matching those in. The study. Evelyn and Clara found a vial of lavender-scented ink in a guest room. Evelyn swears it's not hers. Hargrove and Blackwood discovered a broken lock on the desk, where Blackwood's letterhead was kept. Poirot files each detail away, his mind mapping connections. We progress, but the clock ticks. Our culprit grows bolder. As midnight looms again, the tension is palpable. Poirot gathers the group, his voice steady. The first riddle is solved, but the true puzzle is human nature. Someone here knows more than they say. Tomorrow we delve deeper into motives and memories. He pauses, locking eyes with each guest, as if daring the culprit to flinch. Chapter closes with the manor settling into an uneasy quiet. The fog outside thicker than ever, setting the stage for the revelations to come in Chapter 3. Chapter 3, Shadows of the past, the air in Shadowbrook Manor feels heavier now, as if the walls themselves are whispering secrets. Hercule Poirot stands in the library, his sharp eyes scanning the group huddled around the oak table, their faces lit by the flickering glow of a candelabra. The carved message on the door, "Truth lies in shadows," hangs over them like a storm cloud, and the cut telephone lines mean no help is coming. The guests are restless. Lady Evelyn Thorne sips her sherry with forced calm. Dr. Julian Hargrove's fingers drum on the table. Clara Voss clutches her notebook like a shield. Victor Lang polishes his spectacles nervously, and Sir Reginald Blackwood checks his pocket watch again, his face etched with worry. Captain Hastings, ever loyal, stands close to Poirot, muttering, "This place is giving me the creeps, old boy." Poirot's mustache twitches. Fear, mon ami, is a tool. Our culprit uses it, but we shall use logic. Poirot begins by addressing the group, his voice steady as a metronome. Izamas, the clues multiply muddy prints, tampered locks, lavender ink. But clues are nothing without context. You must explore the shadows of this manor's past too. Find the truth. He turns to Blackwood, whose hands tremble slightly. Sir Reginald, you mentioned your late wife, Amelia. Her portrait watches us. Her cryptographer's mind, perhaps tied to these games. Tell us more. Blackwood hesitates, his eyes darting to the portrait above the mantel, a striking woman with piercing blue eyes and a knowing smile. Amelia was extraordinary. She worked on secret codes during the war, unbreakable ones. After we married, she helped me with my business strategies, negotiations. But her death 2 years ago, it broke me. The group leans in, sensing a thread. Clara, her writer's curiosity piqued, asks, "How did she die?" They called it suicide pills in her study, but I never believed it. She was vibrant, full of plans. Some whispered I drove her to it with my experiments. Poirot's eyes narrow. Experiments, monsieur? Elaborate. Blackwood shifts uncomfortably. Years ago, I funded psychological studies ways to influence decisions for business. Amelia disapproved, said I was playing with fire. We argued. But I stopped before her death. Or so I thought. Poirot senses a lead and pivots to the group. Let us test memory and motive. Each of you share a connection to Amelia Blackwood, however small. Truth now, or suspicion grows. Lady Evelyn speaks first, her tone clipped. Amelia was my sister. We were close until she married Reginald. I thought he stifled her brilliance, but we stayed in touch. Letters mostly. Poirot notes her. Yusuf was, as if the bond faded. Hargrove clears his throat. I met Amelia at university, before Reginald. We collaborated on a paper about suggestion, how words shape behavior. She was sharp, but private. Victor fidgets, then admits, I designed a code-breaking device for her during the war. A prototype never used. She paid generously. Clara, blushing, says, I never met her, but I read about her in a cryptography journal. She's why I came here, to learn from her legacy. Poirot files each response away, sensing half-truths. He decides to probe the manor itself, leading the group to Amelia's study, a room untouched since her death. The door creaks open, revealing a time capsule, a mahogany desk cluttered with papers, a typewriter, and shelves of books on codes and ciphers. Faint scent of lavender lingers, tying back to the ink vial. Poirot examines the desk, finding a locked drawer with fresh scratches. Someone tried to force it recently. Hastings, fetch a hairpin for Mademoiselle Clara. Clara hands one over, and Poirot deftly picks the lock, revealing a journal bound in leather, its pages filled with Amelia's neat script. He reads aloud a passage. Reginald's experiments grow reckless. He thinks he can bend minds for profit, but he underestimates the cost of hidden evidence in the manor where shadows guard the truth. The group gasps. Hargrove mutters. She knew something dangerous. Evelyn's face hardens, but she says nothing. Poirot flips further, finding a sketch of a clock with a note. Time reveals all. Check the gears, he recalls Blackwood's prizin. Antique clock said to predict the future. This clock Sir Reginald wears it. Blackwood leads them to the drawing room, where the clock stands, a towering piece with intricate gears, visible through a glass panel. Victor, the inventor, examines it eagerly. Remarkable craftsmanship. There's a hidden compartment. He presses a gear, and a small door clicks open, revealing a tiny scroll. Poirot unrolls it, reading, "To win the game, face the mirror of your guilt." The words chill the room. Blackwood pales. Amelia's words, she loved cryptic messages. But Poirot wonders, is this Amelia's clue or the culprit's taunt? To keep the group engaged, Poirot proposes another of Blackwood's games, hoping to stir reactions. He finds a second envelope on the clock marked Game 2. The riddle inside reads, "I am weightless, but you can see me. Put me in a bucket and I'll make it lighter." What am I? Clara, quick as ever, says a hole. It's invisible, but visible, and it reduces weight. Poirot nods. Bean. This riddle speaks of absent something missing, yet present, like guilt, perhaps, or a truth buried. As they ponder, Graves the butler interrupts, his voice tense. "Sir, the front gate is open. Someone's been outside." Poirot leads a quick inspection, finding fresh tire tracks in the gravel, too wide for their taxi. "A vehicle came and went," he says. "Our culprit has an accomplice, or plans. An escape." Back inside, he notices Evelyn's gloves muddy at the edges. "Madame, a walk in the fog?" She scoffs. "I stepped outside for air. This manor is stifling." Her defiance intrigues Poirot. He assigns new tasks. Hastings and Clara to search Amelia's books for more clues. Victor and Hargrove to check the manor's exits for tampering, and Evelyn to stay with Blackwood under Poirot's watchful eye. Alone for a moment, Poirot studies the journal again, finding a code, a series of numbers, the 12th of March 25. "A cipher," he murmurs. "Perhaps a date or coordinates within the manor." He resolves to crack it later. The pairs return with findings. Clara and Hastings discover a book with a hollowed-out section, empty but smelling of lavender. Victor and Hargrove report a window in the cellar forced open, with more muddy prints nearby. Poirot's mind races each. Clue points to someone moving freely, unseen. He gathers the group, his voice firm. "We are close. Mies, Amos." Past holds the key, but someone here is her shadow, continuing her game, more twisting it. Tomorrow, we confront the guilt behind the mirror. The chapter ends with the manor's clocks chiming 1 a.m., the sound echoing like... Chapter 4. The mirror of guilt. The chimes of Shadowbrook Manor's clocks fade into an oppressive silence. The kind that makes every creak of the floorboards sound like a warning. Hercule Poirot stands in the drawing room, his keen eyes flickering. Between the antique clock and the uneasy faces of the guests, Lady Evelyn Thorne, her emerald earrings glinting like wary eyes. Dr. Julian Hargrove, his burly frame tense. Clara Voss, scribbling nervously in her notebook. Victor Lang, clutching a small gadget as if it's his lifeline. And Sir Reginald Blackwood, his fingers twitching around his ever-present pocket watch. Captain Hastings hovers near Poirot, his face a mix of awe and anxiety. "This place is a maze, Poirot." Every clue leads to another puzzle. Poirot's mustache curls slightly. "Oui, mon ami, but a maze has an exit. She'll find it by facing the mirror of guilt, as Amelia's scroll demands." Poirot gathers the group, his voice cutting through the tension like a scalpel. "Mies, Amos, the clues we've uncovered, Amelia's journal, the coded numbers, the riddles they point to. A truth buried in this manor's heart." The scroll said, "Face the mirror of your guilt. Let us seek this mirror, both literal and figurative." He gestures to the drawing room's walls, adorned with gilded frames and heavy drapes. "Sir Reginald, are there mirrors of note?" "In this house?" Blackwood nods slowly. "There's one in Amelia's private parlor, a full-length antique she loved. She'd spend hours there, writing, thinking." His voice cracks, betraying a flicker of pain. The group moves to the parlor. A small room off the main hall, its air thick with the scent of old roses. The mirror dominates one wall, its ornate silver frame carved with vines and ravens matching. The watermark on the cryptic note. Poirot runs a finger along the edge, feeling for hidden mechanisms. This mirror is more than decor, he says. Amelia was a cryptographer. She hid truths in plain sight. Victor, the inventor, steps forward, his curiosity piqued. Let me check. He taps the frame, listening for hollow spots, but finds none. Clara, peering closely, gasps. There's writing faint etched in the glass. Poirot squints, spotting it. Reflect on your sins, and the truth opens. A clue, he exclaims. But what sin, and whose? To unravel this, Poirot shifts. Focus to the coded numbers from Amelia's journal, the 12th of March 25. Perhaps a combination? Or a reference to something in this room? He scans the parlor. A writing desk, a velvet chaise, and a small bookshelf with titles on ciphers and psychology. Clara, ever eager, suggests, could it be a book? Page 3, line 12, word 25. Poirot nods, a fine hypothesis. Mademoiselle, they pull books, finding one codes, and secrets with a page marked. Page 3, line 12, word 25 is guilt. Poirot's eyes gleam. Guilt again. The theme persists. He turns to the group, testing their reactions. Speak of guilt. Each of you confess a regret tied to Amelia or this manor. Honesty may loosen the knot. Evelyn speaks first, her voice sharp but wavering. I regretted not visiting Amelia more. She wrote to me about her fears of Reginald's experiments, but I dismissed them as stress. Hargrove rubs his beard. I pushed Amelia to publish our research, even when she wanted secrecy. It strained our friendship, Victor admits. I sold one of Amelia's code devices to a collector after her death. I needed the money. Clara, hesitant, says I. Used Amelia's story in my novel draft without permission. I thought it was homage. Blackwood's voice breaks. I ignored Amelia's warnings about my work. If I'd listened, she might still be here. Poirot listens, noting Evelyn's guarded tone and Hargrove's fidgeting hands. Merci for your candor. But one of you holds a deeper guilt, perhaps, tied to Amelia's end, returns to the mirror, pressing the etched words. A click sounds, and a panel in the frame swings open, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside is a letter, yellowed but sealed with Amelia's initials. Poirot reads aloud, If you find this, I'm gone. My work uncovered truths Reginald hid experiments on unwilling minds. The evidence is in the manor, guarded by time. Forgive me. The group is stunned. Blackwood collapses into a chair. She knew I was funding mind control trials ... for profit. I swore I stopped, but she didn't believe me. The revelation shifts the dynamic. Hargrove snaps, You're saying Amelia died because of your schemes? Evelyn glares. You always were reckless, Reginald. What? Poirot raises a hand. Enough. This letter is a piece of the puzzle, but not the whole. We need the evidence. Amelia hid. He recalls the clock's compartment and the riddle about a hole. Perhaps the absence is literal a hidden space. He assigns tasks, Hastings and Victor to check the clock for more compartments, Clara and Evelyn to search the parlor for hollow walls, and Hargrove to stay with Blackwood, under scrutiny. As they work, Poirot examines the letter's envelope. Noticing a faint smudge lavender ink, like the vial found earlier, this ink connects to our culprit, he murmurs. He slips into the hall, following a hunch to the guest rooms. In Evelyn's room, he finds a small bottle of lavender perfume, its cap loose. Curious, he says, pocketing a sample for later. Back in the parlor, Clara calls out, Monsieur Poirot, the chaisette's hollow. She lifts the cushion, revealing a compartment with a tiny key engraved with a raven. This must fit something, Poirot says, suspecting the safe behind Amelia's portrait. The group reconvenes. And Victor reports, The clock has no more secrets, but I found gears misaligned as if tampered with. Evelyn and Clara confirm the key fits the safe, but it's empty. Someone got there first. Hargrove and Blackwood return, reporting nothing new, though Hargrove's boots are muddy, despite claiming he stayed inside. Poirot's mind races. The empty safe, the tampered clock, the muddy boots all threads, in a tightening net to keep. The momentum. Poirot introduces another of Blackwood's games. Found in a third envelope by the mirror. I am always running but never move. What am I? Victor answers quickly. A clock. It runs with time but stays in place. Poirot nods. We and time is our enemy. The culprit. Chapter 5. The ticking of time. The fog outside Shadowbrook Manor presses against the windows like a living thing, muffling the world beyond. Inside, the attic's broken window lets in a chill that seems to seep into everyone's bones. Hercule. Poirot stands over the smear of red paint on the floorboards, his sharp eyes tracing the jagged glass edges. The guest lady, Evelyn Thorne, Dr. Julian Hargrove, Clara Voss, Victor Lang, and Sir Reginald Blackwood cluster near the door, their faces a mix of fear and suspicion. Captain Hastings, shivering slightly, mutters, "This is getting out of hand, Poirot. Paint or not, someone's toying with us." Poirot's mustache twitches as he straightens up. Oui, mon ami, but every trick reveals the trickster. Time is central to this game clocks. Watches, moments frozen. We must follow its rhythm to find the truth. Poirot leads the group back to the library, where the glow of candles casts long shadows. He holds up the tiny key found in the chaise, its raven engraving glinting. This key, Mies Amos, was meant for Amelia's safe, but the safe is empty. Yet time her watch, the manor's clocks keep surfacing. Let us explore this thread. He turns to Blackwood, whose fingers hover over his pocket watch. Sir Reginald, your watch from Amelia has its peculiarities. Blackwood hesitates, then opens it, revealing a faint ticking louder than expected. Always been loud, he says. Amelia said it was her way of keeping me punctual. Poirot examines it, noting a slight bulge in the casing. With a delicate twist, he opens a hidden compartment, revealing a folded note in Amelia's script. The truth ticks in. The heart of the manor. The group buzzes with excitement, but Poirot quiets them. This note suggests a specific clock. Perhaps the heart of the manor is symbolic or literal. Clara, her writer's mind racing, says, the grandfather clock in the hall. It's central, massive, like the manor's pulse. Poirot nods. Bean, mademoiselle. Let us investigate. They move to the hall, where the grandfather clock looms, its pendulum swinging with a steady tick-tock. Victor, the inventor, inspects the mechanism. It's old but modified extra gears, not standard. He points to a panel at the base, locked with a raven-shaped keyhole. The chaise key fits perfectly, and the panel opens, revealing a small box containing a brass cipher wheel, a device used for decoding messages. Poirot turns the wheel. Aligning symbols based on the numbers from Amelia's journal, the 12th of March 25, it clicks, producing a sequence. Hallway. Mon Dieu, Poirot murmurs. Amelia points us to this very hall. He scans the area, noticing a faded tapestry depicting a raven in flight. Pulling it aside, he reveals a hidden alcove with a dusty ledger.
Ow!
The pages detail Blackwood's experiments, names, dates, payments for mind trials on unwitting subjects. One entry stands out. Subject refused, threatened exposure. A.B. intervened. Blackwood pales. That's Amelia's writing. She found out, I continued. The trials secretly. The group erupts. Evelyn snaps. You lied to her, Reginald. No wonder she hid this. Hargrove's eyes narrow. Did she threaten to expose you? Is that why? ... He trails off, but the implication hangs heavy. Poirot intervenes. Later, this ledger is evidence, but not the whole truth. Someone knew it was here. He notices Clara's notebook, its pages filled with sketches of ravens. Mademoiselle Voss, your drawings, why ravens? Clara blushes. They're in my novel, inspired by the manor's crest. I didn't know about the ledger. Stir. Reactions. Poirot introduces another of Blackwood's games. Found in an envelope tucked in the alcove. I am full of holes, yet I can hold water. You can break me, but you cannot touch me. What am I? Evelyn answers sharply. A dream. It's intangible, holds images like water, and can be shattered by waking. Poirot nods. Perceptive, madame. Like memories, can deceive. Someone here is crafting a dream to mislead us. As they ponder, Graves the butler appears, his face ashen.
Us?
Sir, the kitchen, someone's been there? Food scattered, a knife missing? Poirot leads the group to the kitchen, finding chaos. Flour spilled, a drawer open, and a butcher's knife gone. Footprints in the flour size 10, muddy match those found earlier. Hargrove, defensive, says, I was nowhere near here. His boots, still muddy, draw Poirot's gaze. Monsieur, your boots betray you. Explain. Hargrove stammers. Stepped outside to check the tire tracks after the attic discovery. Poirot files this away, unconvinced. He assigns new tasks to keep the group busy, Hastings and Clara. To cross-check the ledger's names with manor records, Victor and Evelyn to inspect the manor's other clocks for hidden compartments. And Hargrove to stay with Blackwood, watched closely. Alone, Poirot examines the flower footprints, noting a faint lavender scent again, tying to Evelyn's perfume or the ink. He slips to her room, finding a letter in her suitcase, half-written. Dear R, your secrets are safe, but the price is high. The handwriting matches the cryptic note from the study. The pairs return with findings. Clara and Hastings discover a name in the ledger, Dr. Moreau, the author of the psychology book linked to Hargrove's past. Victor and Evelyn report a wall clock in the dining room with a loose back, but nothing inside. Poirot's mind hums. The missing knife, the letter, the ledger all point to a conspiracy. He gathers the group, his voice steady. Amelia's. Truth is emerging, but someone weaves a net of lies. The missing knife suggests danger grows. We must be vigilant. As the clocks strike 2 a.m., a faint creak echoes from the cellar. Poirot signals silence, leading the group downstairs. Chapter 6. Into the depths. The trapdoor in Shadowbrook Manor's cellar yawns like a dark mouth. Its damp, earthy breath chilling the group as they stand at its edge. Hercule Poirot holds a flickering lantern, its light barely piercing the gloom. Of the tunnel below, the guest lady Evelyn Thorne, Dr. Julian Hargrove, Clara Voss, Victor Lang, and Sir Reginald Blackwood hover behind him. Their faces, a mix of dread and curiosity. Captain Hastings grips his notebook, whispering, This feels like stepping into a tomb, Poirot. Poirot's eyes glint in the dim light. Nan, mon ami, it is a path to truth. The manor's secrets lie beneath, and we shall unearth them. With method and order, Poirot descends first, his polished shoes echoing on the stone steps. The tunnel is narrow, its walls slick with moss, and the air carries a faint metallic temps. He holds the lantern high, revealing cobwebs and faint scratches on the walls, recent, as if someone dragged something heavy. Observe, he says. Pointing to the marks, our culprit moves in secret, but leaves traces. The group follows cautiously, Evelyn clutching her shawl. Hargrove's heavy breathing loud in the confined space, Clara scribbling observations. Victor scanning with a small flashlight, and Blackwood trailing, his watch ticking like a heartbeat at the tunnel's end. They emerge into a small chamber, its stone walls lined with shelves holding dusty files and strange devices, glass tubes. Wires and dials, like relics of a mad scientist's lair. Poirot examines a file labeled Project Psyche. Finding notes in Amelia's handwriting, Reginald's trials went to far subjects, manipulated, memories altered. I hid the proof here, safe from his reach. Didn't know she kept this? I thought I'd destroyed all records. Poirot's gaze sharpens. Yet someone found this place. The scratches. The missing knife, our culprit, knows these tunnels. Among the devices, Victor spots a peculiar box with dials and a lens labeled hypnoprojector. This is mine, he exclaims. I built it for Amelia to test visual suggestion. Harmless, I swear. Hargrove scoffs. Harmless. Your gadgets could bend minds. Poirot intervenes. Enough. Act. This device may explain the illusions. Mannequin, the paint, but who used it? He notices a smudge on the box lavender ink, tying back to earlier clues. Evelyn shifts uncomfortably, her gloves now spotless. What? But Poirot recalls the muddy pair. To keep the group engaged and reveal more. Poirot finds another of Blackwood's game envelopes, tucked among the files, marked Game 4. The riddle reads, I am present in every moment, but you cannot hold me. I slip through your fingers, yet I am eternal. What am I? Clara, quick-witted, answers, time. It's always there, ungraspable, endless. Poirot nods. And time is running out. This riddle reminds us the culprit plays with our perception of moments. As they explore, Clara points to a stack of letters tied with a ribbon, hidden behind a shelf. Poirot unties them, finding correspondence between Amelia and Dr. Marotha, named from the ledger. One letter reads, Julian, your theories on suggestion inspired me, but Reginald's application is dangerous. Help me stop him. Hargrove's face reddens. She reached out to me. Yes, but I refuse to risky. Poirot notes his defensiveness, suspecting a deeper connection. Suddenly, a low rumble shakes the chamber, dust falling from the ceiling. The tunnel. Victor shouts as rocks block the entrance. Panic rises, but Poirot remains calm. A trap, but not fatal. There must be another exit. He searches, finding a loose stone in the wall. Pressing it reveals a second tunnel, narrower and steeper. We proceed, he declares, leading the way. The group follows, hearts pounding as the path twists upward, emerging in the Manor's boiler room, its furnace casting an eerie red glow in the boiler room. Poirot spots a discarded cloth stained with red paint, the same used in the attic. Our culprit moves freely, staging fear, he says. He notices footprints in the dust size 10, but narrower than Hargrove's boots. Chew, monsieur, he tells Hargrove, who sighs in relief. But suspicion shifts to Victor, whose smaller feet could match. Victor protests. I was with you all. Poirot says nothing, but his mind catalogues the discrepancy to uncover more. Poirot assigns tasks, Hastings and Evelyn to check the boiler room for tools or weapons, Clara and Victor to examine the letters for more codes, and Hargrove to guard Blackwood. Alone, Poirot inspects the furnace, finding a singed scrap of paper with a partial note, ... pay for her death. The handwriting resembles Evelyn's letter, deepening his suspicion. He pockets it, planning to confront her later. The pairs return. Evelyn and Hastings find a wrench with fresh scratches, possibly used to tamper with the tunnel. Clara and Victor decode another number sequence in the letter 7149, pointing to a book in the library. The Mind's Maze. Page 7, line 14, word 9, betrayal. Poirot murmurs. Amelia felt betrayed. By whom? Blackwood, overhearing whispers. By me. I hid the trial's extent from her. As tension mounts, a faint ticking echoes, not Blackwood's watch, but something louder. Poirot follows the sound to a pipe, where a small device is taped to timer, counting down from 10 minutes. Mon, do, a distraction or a threat? He exclaims. Victor, the gadget expert, disables it, revealing it's a noisemaker, not a bomb. Another trick, Poirot says, to keep us off balance. But the timer's casing has a raven emblem, tying it to the Manor's crest. Poirot gathers the group, his voice steady. We are close, Ms. Amos. Betrayal fuels this game, and the culprit uses Amelia's clues against us. We must return to the library, where the next truth awaits. The chapter ends with the group ascending to the main floor, the Manor's shadows. Deeper, the air thick with unspoken accusations, setting the stage for Chapter 7. Chapter 7. The web of betrayal. The library of Shadowbrook Manor feels like a pressure cooker. Its towering bookshelves and flickering candles amplifying the tension among the group. Hercule Poirot stands at the center, his sharp gaze sweeping over Lady Evelyn Thorne, Dr. Julian Hargrove, Clara Voss, Victor Lang, and Sir Reginald Blackwood, each betraying nerves in their own way. Evelyn's tight grip on her glass, Hargrove's restless pacing, Clara's frantic scribbling, Victor's fidgeting with a gadget, and Blackwood's obsessive watch-checking. Captain Hastings, clutching his notebook, whispers, Poirot. It's like they're all hiding something. Poirot's mustache twitches. Oui, mon ami, betrayal weaves this web, and we must untangle it thread by thread. With the precision of the little gray cells, Poirot holds up the singed note from the boiler room, its partial message, pay for her death, glinting in the candlelight. This note, Mies Amos, accuses someone of responsibility for Amelia's demise. Combined with the ledger, the letters, and the word betrayal from her code, we are close to the heart of this mystery. He turns to the library's shelves, recalling the book The Mind's Maze, where the code 7149 pointed to betrayal. He retrieves it, flipping to the marked page, and finds a handwritten note tucked inside. The betrayer wears a mask of loyalty. Look to the one who knows. My fears? The handwriting is Amelia's, and Poirot's eyes narrow. Amelia feared betrayal, but from whom? We must probe deeper. To shake the group's composure, Poirot proposes a direct approach. Each of you share a moment when you felt betrayed. Perhaps it mirrors Amelia's fears. Evelyn speaks. First, her voice icy. My sister betrayed me by cutting me out of her life after marrying Reginald. She chose his secrets over our bond. Hargrove grumbles. A colleague Morostel, my research ideas years ago, including work I shared with Amelia, cost me a grant. Victor adjusts his spectacles. A business partner sold my designs behind my back, Amelia warned me. About trust. Clara hesitates, then says, my publisher rejected my first novel, saying it lacked originality. Stung, but it's why I'm here to prove myself. Blackwood's voice is low. Amelia betrayed my trust by hiding her discoveries about my work. I thought we shared everything. Poirot listens, noting Evelyn's bitterness and Hargrove's vague mention of Moreau. He shifts focus to the physical clues, examining the wrench found in the boiler room. Its scratches match those on the tunnel's collapsed entrance, suggesting sabotage. This wrench was used to trap us, he says, eyeing Victor, whose gadgets require tools. Victor protests. I repair, not destroy. Poirot nods, but files the reaction away. He then inspects the library's central table, noticing a faint outline in the dust, a rectangular shape, as if a book or box was recently removed. Something is missing here, he murmurs, suspecting it ties to the empty safe to keep the group active. Poirot finds another of Blackwood's game envelopes, tucked under a candelabra, marked Game 5. The riddle reads, I am silent. Yet I speak volumes, I am still, yet I travel far. What am I? Clara, quick as ever, answers a letter. Silent, conveys messages and travels without moving itself. Poirot nods.
Actament.
Letters like Amelia's carry truths. Across time, perhaps another awaits us. Following this, Poirot leads the group to search the library's nooks, suspecting the missing item is nearby. Clara spots a loose floorboard under a rug, and Poirot pries it open, revealing a small metal box engraved with a raven. Inside is a photograph of Amelia with a young woman, Clara, years younger, standing in a garden. Clara gasps. That's me. I met Amelia at a writing workshop. She mentored me briefly, but I never told anyone. She asked me to keep it secret. Poirot's eyes gleam. Why the secrecy, mademoiselle? Clara stammers. She said her work was sensitive, tied to her husband's business. I didn't pry. The revelation shifts suspicion. Hargrove snaps, you knew her and said nothing? Evelyn's eyes narrow. Convenient, Miss Voss. Poirot intervenes. Calm yourselves. This photograph suggests Amelia trusted Clara, but also feared exposure. We need more. He examines the box, finding a tiny keyhole, but the raven key doesn't fit. Another lock, another secret, he says, suspecting it ties to the manor's many hidden compartments. A sudden crash interrupts a bookshelf tips, spilling books across the floor. Graves, the butler, rushes in, pale. It fell on its own. I was in the hall. Poirot inspects the shelf, finding a wire rig to pull it down, a deliberate trap. Someone wants to disrupt us, he says, noting a smudge of lavender ink on the wire, linking back to earlier clues. Evelyn, standing nearby, adjusts her shawl. But Poirot notices her gloves are clean. perhaps freshly changed. He assigns tasks to keep the group under scrutiny. Hastings and Victor to check the manor's wiring for more traps. Clara and Hargrove to catalog the spilled books for hidden notes, and Evelyn to stay with Blackwood watched closely. Alone, Poirot slips to the hallway, following a faint sound, ticking, not from Blackwood's watch, but from a wall clock. He opens its back, finding a folded note. The betrayer is closest to the heart. The handwriting matches the singed. Note from the boiler room, deepening the mystery. The pairs return with findings. Hastings and Victor find a cut wire in the chandelier, rigged to spark another near miss. Clara and Hargrove discover a book among the spill, Hypnosis and Control, with a circled passage about planting false memories. Amelia studied this, Clara says. She feared someone used it against her. Poirot nods, connecting it to Victor's hypnoprojector and Hargrove's past with Moreau. As the clocks strike 3 a.m., a faint scream echoes from the guest wing. Poirot leads the charge, finding a shattered vase outside Clara's room. Its pieces mixed with red paint, another stage scare. Clara, trembling, says, "I was writing," then heard footsteps. Poirot examines the shards, finding a tiny metal disc engraved with a B, Amelia's initials. "This was planted," he says. "The culprit toys with our fears, but grows careless." Poirot gathers the group, his voice firm. "Betrayal is the key, mise Amos. Amelia's clues point to someone close, her sister, her friend, her mentor, her husband. We are near the truth, but danger closes in." The chapter ends with the manor shrouded in silence, the group's trust fraying. As Poirot prepares to unravel the final threads in Chapter 8. Chapter 8. The Mask of Loyalty. The air in Shadowbrook Manor crackles with unease. The library's candlelight casting jagged shadows that seem to dance with secrets. Hercule Poirot stands before the group lady, Evelyn Thorne, Dr. Julian Hargrove, Clara Voss, Victor Lang, and Sir Reginald Blackwood, his piercing gaze cutting through their nervous glances. Evelyn's emerald earrings glint with defiance. Hargrove's beard twitches with agitation. Clara clutches her notebook like a lifeline. Victor fidgets with a small tool, and Blackwood's fingers hover over his watch. It's ticking, a constant reminder of time slipping away. Captain Hastings, ever at Poirot's side, mutters, "It's like we're trapped in a chess game, Poirot, and someone's moving the pieces." Ah! Poirot's mustache curls slightly. "Be mon ami," but the board is human, and the mask of loyalty hides the true player. We shall unmask them. Poirot holds up the metal disc from the shattered vase. It's a B engraving catching the light. This disc, mise Amos, is no accident. It points to Amelia, but its placement mixed with paint, staged for fear, suggests our culprit uses her memory as a weapon. He turns to the note found in the wall clock. The betrayer is closest to the heart. This, he says, is not just poetry. It is a clue to motive and proximity. Amelia's heart trusted someone perhaps too much. The group shifts, eyes darting as if each fear is being named. To probe deeper, Poirot focuses on the manor's physical secrets. The library has yielded much, but we must revisit the heart of the manor, the grandfather clock in the hall. Its gears may hide more than we found. He leads the group to the towering clock, its pendulum swinging like a metronome. Victor, eager to prove his innocence, examines it again. "There's a secondary mechanism," he says, pointing to a hidden gear. With a click, he opens a small drawer, revealing a locket with a photograph of Amelia and Evelyn as young girls, smiling in a garden. A tiny note inside reads, "E, you promised to protect me. Why did you turn away?" Evelyn's face pales. "That's private. Amelia wrote that when I refused to join her in confronting Reginald's work." Eyes narrow. "Madame, your sister accused you of betrayal, yet you claim loyalty. Explain." Evelyn's voice hardens. "I loved Amelia, but she was obsessed, paranoid about Reginald's experiments. I told her to leave him, but she wouldn't listen." Her words carry a bitter edge, and Poirot notes her clenched fists. He shifts to another clue, the lavender. Ink, smudging multiple items. This ink, he says, holding up the vial found earlier, links the note, the hypnoprojector, and now the wire. Madame Evelyn, your perfume shares this scent. Evelyn scoffs. Lavender is common. Grasping, monsieur. To test reactions, Poirot introduces another of Blackwood's games, found in an envelope inside the locket, marked Game 6. The riddle reads, I am taken from you, yet you feel my weight. I am invisible, yet I blind you. What am I? Hargrove, quick to deflect suspicion, answers, guilt. It's taken from your conscience, weighs heavy, and blinds judgment. Poirot nods. Bean, monsieur, guilt blinds, but also reveals. Someone here carries it heavily. The group's tension spikes when Graves the butler bursts in, breathless. The conservatory glass shattered, papers scattered. Poirot leads the charge, finding the conservatory in disarray. Broken orchid pots, a desk overturned, and a torn letter on the floor. He pieces it together, reading, Reginald, stop the trials or I expose you. The handwriting is Amelia's, but the tear is fresh. Someone found this recently, Poirot says, and tried to destroy it. Blackwood stammers, I didn't know she wrote this. I thought she'd forgiven me. Poirot notices. A footprint in the soil size 10, narrow, like those in the kitchen. Victor, standing nearby, shifts uncomfortably. Monsieur Lang, Poirot says, your shoes are clean, yet these prints persist. Curious, Nan? Victor protests. I've been with you. Someone's framing me. Poirot files this away, suspecting a deliberate misdirection. He assigns tasks to keep the group under pressure. Hastings and Clara to search the conservatory for more letters. Evelyn and Hargrove to check the manor's upper floors for signs of intrusion, and Victor to stay with Blackwood, watched closely. Alone, Poirot examines the torn letter, finding a faint watermark or raven like the manor's crest. He slips to Blackwood's study, recalling the scratched safe. Using a magnifying glass, he spots tiny fibers caught in the scratches green, like Evelyn's shawl. Mon Dieu, he murmurs, the web tightens. The pairs return. Clara and Hastings find a hidden drawer in the conservatory desk, containing a coded note, the 5th of February 18, decoding it using the same book method as before. Points to the mines. Maze, page 2, line 5, word 18, sister. Poirot's eyes gleam. Amelia's clues circle back to family of Ellen, perhaps. Evelyn and Hargrove report a locked attic door forced open, with more red paint smeared inside. Another distraction, Poirot says, but he notes Hargrove's sweaty brow as the clocks strike 4 a.m. A faint hum emanates from the hall. Poirot follows it, finding a small device hidden behind a portrait of voice recorder, playing a loop of Amelia's voice. You betrayed me. The group gasps, Blackwood trembling. That's her. Victor examines it, saying, it's one of my prototypes remote-activated. Poirot's mind races. The recorder, the paint, the footprints all staged to sow panic. But who had access to Victor's tech? Poirot gathers the group, his voice steady. The mask of loyalty slips. Mies Amos. Amelia's voice accuses, but the living wield her words. We are close to unmasking the betrayer, but we must tread carefully. Their next move may be deadly. The chapter ends with the manor cloaked. In pre-dawn gloom, the group's trust shattered as Poirot prepares for the climax in Chapter 9. Chapter 9. The truth behind the mask, the pre-dawn hours wrap Shadowbrook Manor in a suffocating stillness, broken only by the faint ticking of clocks that seem to mock the group's fraying nerves. Hercule Poirot stands in the grand hall, the voice recorder's haunting loop of Amelia's voice, "You betrayed me," still echoing in everyone's minds. Lady Evelyn Thorne grips her shawl, her eyes darting. Dr. Julian Hargrove's hands clench, betraying his unease. Clara Voss hugs her notebook, her face pale. Victor Lang adjusts his spectacles, avoiding eye contact. It's Reginald Blackwood. Stares at his watch, as if willing time to stop. Captain Hastings, ever loyal, whispers, Poirot, this is madness. The voice sits like Amelia's here. Poirot's mustache twitches. Anon mon ami. It is a trick of the living, not the dead. The betrayer is among us, and their mask is slipping. Poirot holds up the recorder, its raven emblem glinting. This device, Mies Amos, is no ghost. It is Victor's creation, used to manipulate our fears. But who activated it? Turns to the coded note from the Conservatory 2518, decoding to sister and the green fibers from the safe. These clues point to family, to betrayal, to someone close to Amelia. We must confront the evidence head-on. He leads the group back to the library, where the air feels thick with secrets. In gestures to the portrait of Amelia, above the elite mantle, her eyes watch us, guiding us to the truth. Let us revisit her clues. Poirot focuses on the ledger from the tunnel, flipping to a page Amelia marked, E.T. knew of trials, refused to act. He faces Evelyn. Madame Thorne, Amelia named UET. Why did you refuse her plea to stop Reginald's experiments? Evelyn's face hardens. She was hysterical, claiming Reginald manipulated minds for profit. I told her to leave him, but I wouldn't ruin my reputation by exposing family secrets. Her voice cracks, and Poirot notes her trembling hands. Yet you wrote to Reginald, your secrets are safe, but the price is high. Explain, Evelyn gasps. How did you? That was private. I meant his reputation, not blackmail, the group murmurs. But Poirot shifts to Victor. Monsieur. Lang, your device is the hypnoprojector. The recorder is central to these games. Did you supply them knowingly? Victor stammers. Amelia commissioned them for her work. Someone must have stolen them after her death. Poirot's eyes narrow, recalling the narrow-sized 10 footprints. Your shoes fit the prints, monsieur. Your tools match the wrench's scratches. Victor shakes his head. I'm being framed. To stir more reactions, Poirot reveals another of Blackwood's game envelopes, found tucked in Amelia's portrait frame, marked Game 7. The riddle reads, I am born in silence, grow in darkness, and die in light.
What?
Am I, Clara? Her voice shaky answers. A secret? Starts hidden, thrives in concealment, and exposure ends it. Poirot nods. We, and Amelia's secret, is near its end. Someone here guards it fiercely. A sudden clatter interrupts Graves. The butler stumbles in, holding a bloodied cloth. Found in the guest wing, near Miss Voss's room. Examines it, sniffing. Blood, this time, not paint. Fresh. Clara gasps. I swear I didn't see anything. Poirot notices a faint lavender scent on the cloth, tying it to Evelyn's perfume. He leads the group to Clara's room, finding a small knife matching the missing kitchen blade hidden under her pillow, its blade smeared with blood. Clara cries, That's not mine! Poirot calms her. Mademoiselle, this is planted. To incriminate you. The true culprit grows desperate. He assigns tasks to keep the group moving. Hastings and Hargrove to search the guest wing for more evidence. Evelyn and Victor to check the manor's exits for signs of escape, and Clara to stay with Blackwood, under Poirot's watch. Alone, he examines the knife, finding a tiny raven etched on the handle. Another of Amelia's markers, he murmurs, suspecting it was hers. He slips to the study, recalling the scratched safe, and finds a hidden drawer, previously overlooked. Inside is a letter from Amelia to Clara. If I fall, publish my truth. A ledger is your proof. Poirot realizes Clara's novel may hold more than fiction. The pairs return. Hastings and Hargrove find a bloody rag in a trash bin, suggesting the blood came from a minor wound, not a murder. Evelyn and Victor report a back door ajar, with muddied prints leading outside, size 10, narrow. Poirot confronts Victor again. These prints follow you, monsieur. Victor insists someone's wearing my shoes. Poirot then turns to Evelyn, holding up the letter from her suitcase. Madame, you demanded a price from Reginald. Is it to silence Amelia's truth? Evelyn snaps, I protected the family. Name. As the clocks strike 5 a.m., a faint light creeps through the windows, signaling dawn. Poirot gathers the group, his voice steady. The secret nears its death in light, as the riddle foretold. Amelia's ledger, her letters, her devices, they point to a betrayer who used her trust. We are one step from the truth. Suddenly, a loud crash echoes from the attic. Poirot leads the charge, finding a toppled trunk, its contents spilled. Papers, a vial of blood, and a photograph of Evelyn and Hargrove, dated weeks before Amelia's death. Mon Dieu, Poirot says, a conspiracy. He locks eyes with Evelyn and Hargrove. You two knew each other before this weekend. Hargrove stammers. Just colleagues. But Evelyn's silence speaks volumes. Chapter ends with the manor bathed in faint dawn light, the group on edge, as Poirot prepares to unveil the final truth in Chapter 10. Chapter 10. The final revelation dawns. Pale light seeps through Shadowbrook Manor's windows, casting a ghostly glow over the attic where Hercule Poirot stands amid the spilled contents of a toppled trunk. The photograph of Lady Evelyn Thorne and Dr. Julian Hargrove, dated weeks before Amelia Blackwood's death, lies in his hand, a silent accusation. The guests, Evelyn, Hargrove, Clara Voss, Victor Lang, and Sir Reginald Blackwood stand frozen, their faces a mix of dread and defiance. Evelyn's emerald earrings catch the light. Hargrove's beard twitches nervously. Clara clutches her notebook. Victor grips a small tool, and Blackwood's watch ticks louder than ever. Captain Hastings, wide-eyed, whispers, Poirot, this is it, isn't it? The end game. Poirot's mustache curls. Mon ami, the mind games end now. The truth, like dawn, cannot be hidden. Poirot gathers the group in the library, where the candles have burned low, their flickering shadows mirroring the unraveling mystery. He holds up the photograph. Mise Amos, this image ties to a view to a moment before Amelia's death, a moment of conspiracy. But let us weave all threads together. He lays out the clues. The ledger detailing Reginald's mind control. Experiments, Amelia's letters accusing betrayal, the lavender ink, the size 10 footprints, the hypnoprojector, the voice recorder, the bloodied knife, and the riddles pointing to guilt and secrets. Each clue, he says, is a piece of Amelia's truth, twisted by the betrayer to torment us. He begins with the riddles, each solved by the group. Echo, graphite, whole time, dream, letter, secret. These were Amelia's voice guiding us to her killer. The final riddle, a secret born in silence, growing in darkness, dying in light, tells us the culprit's motive was hidden, but exposure is near. Turns to Evelyn, holding the letter from her suitcase. Madame, you wrote to Reginald, demanding a price for his secrets. You knew of his trials as Amelia did, but chose silence. Why? Evelyn's voice is sharp. I protected our family's honor. Amelia's accusations would have ruined us. Poirot shifts to Hargrove. Monsieur, you collaborated with Amelia, yet your name appears in her ledger alongside Moros. You knew of Reginald's experiments. Did you profit from them? Hargrove bristles. I advised against them. Amelia begged me to help stop him, but I refused. It was too dangerous. Poirot nods, then turns to Victor. Your devices, Monsieur the Projector. The recorder created illusions. Were they used to drive Amelia to despair? Victor shakes his head. I built them for her research. Someone stole them, finally. Poirot eyes Clara. Mademoiselle, your connection to Amelia was secret, yet your novel mirrors her story. Did you seek her truth or exploit it? Clara trembles. I wanted to honor her, not harm her. Poirot paces, his voice steady. Let us reconstruct. Amelia discovered Reginald's unethical trials, manipulating minds for profit. She hid evidence ledger, letters, devices to expose him. But someone betrayed her, staging her suicide. He holds up the bloodied knife. This, planted in Clara's room, was meant to frame her. The blood real, but minor, suggests a staged wound to heighten fear. He points to the footprints. Size 10, narrow, not Hargrove's, but possibly Victor's, or another's, wearing stolen shoes. He then reveals the photograph. This shows Evelyn and Hargrove plotting. But was it murder or something else? A sudden thud interrupts Graves. The butler rushes in. Study door's been forced. Poirot leads the group there, finding the desk ransacked, A hidden panel open, revealing a final letter from Amelia. If I die, Evelyn and Julia know why. They chose silence over justice. Blackwood collapses, sobbing. Ah, I didn't kill her. I loved her. Poirot raises a hand. Non, monsieur, you did not wield the blade, but your actions set the stage. Poirot gathers everyone, his voice commanding. The truth is this. Evelyn and Hargrove conspired to silence Amelia. Evelyn? You resented her for marrying Reginald, cutting you out. You knew of his trials and demanded payment to keep silent, not for honor, but greed. Hargrove, you supplied the knowledge techniques from your research with more to manipulate Amelia's mind, making her doubt her sanity. The hypnoprojector, stolen from Victor, planted false fears. The blood, the paint, the recorder all, your tools to recreate that fear this weekend to scare Reginald into paying more. Evelyn snaps, You have no proof. But Poirot holds up the lavender-stained letter from her suitcase, its handwriting matching the cryptic notes. This ink, your perfume, betrays you. And the photograph dated before her death shows. Your alliance. Hargrove lunges forward, but Hastings restrains him. You drove her to pills, Hargrove shouts. She was unstable. We only pushed her to leave Reginald. Poirot shakes his head. Ah, Nan, you pushed her to death, staging it as suicide to protect your gains. Clara, tears streaming, says I found her journal in the workshop. I wrote her story to expose the truth, Victor adds. My devices were stolen, I swear. Poirot nods. You two are innocent, but used as pawns. He turns to Blackwood. Your guilt is negligence, monsieur. You ignored Amelia's fears, enabling this tragedy. As dawn breaks fully, Poirot concludes.